Hi, folks. Am I audible? Hello. Okay, nice. So, folks, how are you doing today? How is the Saturday coming for you guys? Yeah. And, guys, how have the session been so far? How was your experience? So, this is, as you guys know, this is going to be our last session. So, please make the most use of this program. Please complete all the assignments on time. Currently we are lagging behind on assignment 3. I suggest everybody to just keep completing the assignments. Why the assignments are there? Most importantly, assignments are there to basically test your knowledge, whatever you have learned from this particular live session. You'll be translating it, implementing it, if not now, later on in your career. So I suggest everybody just let's try completing the assignments on time. The assignment deadline of the third session is basically 20th, as we have already updated on the group and on the emails. So please, yeah, let's just keep completing it, and let's try to complete it by 20th, by hook or crook. And yeah, basically about today's session. Today we have another good speaker with us, which is Harshita. She has been with us for the past HR4 session also, and she specializes in employee training, in college folks training, and she has more than 10 plus years of experience in the corporates. She currently is also the founder of her own academy, which is Higher Academy, which we'll be also getting to know in the end. So, yeah. So, guys, let's start the session. If anybody is not there, please tell them to join. And over to you, Harshita.
Thank you so much, Neeraj. Very good morning, everybody. How is everyone? Good morning, good morning. So good to see such active, interactive team here. So how were the three sessions? How was the experience? Did you guys enjoy? It was informative, very informative. Amazing, amazing, really nice, engaging. Perfect. So I'm really excited and really happy. I've always enjoyed all my sessions that I have delivered for Keka. It's been a pleasure working with them from so long, and today as well I'm really excited. It's a new topic. I'm HR myself, and HR Forge is something which if you want to get into this particular industry, and you want to be a HR, and something you want to make the most out of it, they are going to cover every area which is important for you. So I'm glad that we are a part of HR Forge, and we have covered so many interactive important topics which are really the companies and MNCs are paying a lot of emphasis on these kind of areas. And it's not just about hiring and creating profits and getting the work done. No, we are also paying attention to things like employee engagement. We are also paying attention to the posh. We are also paying attention to the safety and security and the perks that employees need. So that is a very important aspect, and Keka is helping us with all sorts of information that the future HR leaders like you need it. Yeah. So are we excited for today's sessions? Give me a yes, no, thumbs up. Are we all excited? Oh wow, I'm more excited to see your yeses now. All right, so I'll first tell you, we are going to understand about people analytics. I'm sure you've gone through the this thing about what this topic is going to be and the entire session is going to be all about. However, I am going to take you through my journey a little bit for you to understand that why I became a HR, how I became a HR, and why I am still loving this job. I'm still under, this amazing timeline and this amazing profile. Moreover, why this particularly people analytics is important in today's time. Yeah. So I did my MBA in HR from MIT University. That was long back. And why I wanted to be a HR was because I was very passionate about knowing new people, talking to them, helping, and, being that person in the organization who just wants to, probably help people around, make lives easier. That was the motive. And probably because of that, maybe I became a life coach as well. Right. So I actually became a life coach. I started with my recruitment, wherein we were doing hiring of like different roles. We were majorly into non IT. Gradually, because I've always been a kind of person who has studied and done a lot of HR courses to upgrade my skill set, and I think one should always keep doing that. So I started hiring for tech people, I started hiring for non-tech people, a lot of investment banking companies and MNCs that I have closely worked with and understood their hiring patterns. For instance, like Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, Novo Nordisk, Pernodrika, they're all big brands that I have closely worked with, and I've understood that, it's not just about hiring a person. It is just the beginning, and then the entire drama starts. You also have to hire a right person. You also have to make sure that the right person is having and experiencing a great culture within your organization. And you also have to understand that how is the employee engagement, what is employee engagement, to understand that how much employee is happy in that particular organization. What is the iteration ratio. We will be talking about all these terms in the session, so you don't have to really take a load of it. So it's not just about hiring, it's about lot many things which comes with the experience of the employee. How to understand and how to read and understand and go through the experience of the employee is through the people analytics. Yeah. So people analytics is nothing about just putting some data out there and just making some assumptions. No, it is you are trying to understand the mindset and the needs and wants and requirements of the employee, and that can't be on assumptions. There has to be a very nicely curated data that also needs to be read in a way and understandable in a way that you take proper required actions to make sure that the employee engagement is done right, the experience of the employee is right, the employee is happy. If they are not happy, what are the right actions that we can do? Yeah. So as a HR, there are many misconceptions and assumptions that hiring is the only major stuff and maybe making salaries. But no, HR is a very demanding job, and it has a lot many small areas to it which you can't afford to ignore, at least for a longer period of time. Okay. So are we all excited for the session? Let's we begin. Let me just quickly share the screen. Also, I would like to clarify, I will start the session now. I will try to complete it in less than an hour, around 45 to 50 minutes. And in last 10-15 minutes, we will be taking up all the questions, every single question that is coming into your mind while I'm giving you the session. Please note that down in a notebook or on also paper, and then pick that up in the towards the end of the session when I'll just take up all the questions. Okay, so that the flow does not breaks. And when you ask the question, there are other people who haven't asked, but it also answers their doubts and queries. So we will be completing that entire question answer session towards the end. Yeah, I'm just sharing my screen. Let me know if it is clearly visible to everybody. Okay, is my screen visible to everyone? Okay, awesome. So, people analytics measuring what truly matters in 2025. So, we will not only talk about the data and analysis and different graphs and stuff, but we will also be talking about why is it important in today's era. Why in 2025 there is the new kind of a boost that has come up, that data and this data and that data is important, all of that. So we will be going through all those aspects when it comes to HR, why the data analytics and people analytics is important, how we are measuring different data metrics in HR to make a organization, which has a good culture, and the entire NEP promoter score is very good. We will be talking about this, all these questions, these areas, and if you have any questions, just please make a note of it. All right. Okay, so I have a question for you before we start. I believe the screen is clearly visible. You can see the question. Which of these metrics would you track first as a HR? So I will give you a brief of all these matrices. First is time to fill. Time to fill metrics talks about the data which you create or which you require when you are hiring for people. Okay, when you're hiring for people, that is the matrix that you look at. Then comes the attrition rate. What is attrition rate? When people are leaving, the amount and the percentage of people are leaving the company, resigning, or they are being asked to leave or fired or xyz reasons. When the employees are exiting from the organization, that is called the attrition rate or the attrition data matrix. Yeah. Then comes the engagement score. What is engagement score? Engagement score is basically, it talks about how much employee is happy to be in the organization. The culture is good, the engagement is good, the managers are really nice, the colleagues are really friendly, there is teamwork and team effort that is being put inside. So that is basically the engagement score. Then what is next is offer acceptance rate. Offer acceptance rate means, if I want to hire a VP, a vice president, for a company, for a tech company or a product company, I am going to interview them. There will be a couple of rounds of interview that will happen. Then comes the salary discussion. I will be going through their salary documents of the previous firm. I will have a discussion, and then I will finally release their offer as per my budget and their expectation, somewhere in between, right? Once I have released the offer, has he accepted it or not? Because I'll tell you what. So when we talk about HR, as I said, it is not just about hiring. There are small little areas which has a lot of attention and importance in every process. So if I am releasing an offer and my candidate has refused to accept it, either because maybe he has not liked the incentive or variable structure, or he is expecting for more, or maybe he has got a better offer from some other company and he is trying to match our offer with that, and he's saying that I've got 50 LPA from that company, you are giving me 45, can you match it to 50 LPA? What is LPA? Lakh per annum. Okay, so if it is happening like that and the offers are either getting accepted or not getting accepted, then what is the ratio? What is the conversion ratio? If HRs are hiring and getting releasing the offers, but the offers are not getting accepted, and there is another ratio which is the offer drop ratio. People who do not accept the offers, and either they accept it but they don't join, it is called offer drop ratio. They accepted the offer but they did not join, so the offer got dropped. Okay, so these are very crucial matrices. In the list that I've shared, there are only few that I have shared in the screen, but there are many more to it. When we are doing the HR audit, when we are sitting and talking about the different data that we have created over the years of time, we talk about a lot of things, right? So these are just four that I have mentioned here. Now I would like to know that which of these metrics would you track first as an HR? Which is the one that you would first track? I've explained each one of them to you. Attrition, okay. Okay, so everybody is saying attrition. So basically, you don't want anybody to go, just stay there. Just stay there, even if the engagement score is bad. Is that so? Okay, now I can see some engagement score. Acha. Now there are some people who are saying time to fill, that keep hiring people, ignore other matrices. Is that so? Okay, safest answer all. So I'll tell you what. Every matrix has its importance in certain ways, right? Now, for example, we do not have any new project coming in, and the team that we are having in the organization is sufficient to do all the ongoing projects and ongoing processes. Yeah, then we don't need hiring, right? So if there is a hiring happening, that could probably be the replacement of somebody who might be leaving due to their personal reasons. So attrition rate, if it is more like 50%, 40%, or more than that, that can be alarming at a time. But it depends that what could be the reason. Maybe the focus of the company has changed from one project to another project, and now we need people who are more specialized in the new upcoming project rather than the previous one, right? So every matrix that I have mentioned here, and also the ones that I have not mentioned, and it comes under HR, they are all important. They are extremely considering kind of a matrix. We cannot ignore any of them. However, the time and the situation, based on that, what situation has arisen and what is the timing and what is the ask of the hour, it all depends upon that what matrix will you be analyzing, and how will you further take the required kind of action. Okay, all right, are we all on the same page? Are we enjoying so far? Okay, I will explain attrition, retention, everything, don't worry. So attrition is when people are leaving. They are just not, they don't want to care about any, policies and everything. They are just leaving the company. I was working with one company. There, I will not name it. It is a very big brand. It is a very renowned company. Its headquarter is in Dubai. Okay, and there the attrition ratio was extremely bad. So what do I mean with attrition ratio? It is that people are joining and within a few months they are leaving. Why? Because the culture was not good, there were unrealistic targets and people were not able to match it, and the managers were also very disrespectful towards their employees. That when people are leaving and the attrition is happening is when they are resigning and they're leaving, and that is what I have experienced myself there. No matter whatever we do, we give them trainings, or we do a good engagement activity every single Friday, or we try to give them a good team to work with, XYZ things HRs did, but because the culture and the manager, the way they are behaving with the company is not good. Yeah, that we actually analyze with the attrition rate. We not only see the kind of people who are leaving, we also go through why and what and the reasons. Is it the salary issue? Is it the culture issue? Is it the working hours that is a issue? Is it the location of the office that can be the issue? All of that. Retention is when you retain the employees. Yeah, so it is like that. So attrition is, and the retention is two different things. Okay, are we on the same page? Should we move to the next slide? Awesome. All right, Neeraj, can you put up that poll? Have you heard of people analytics before today? Okay, guys, let's just have your poll here. Just answer it if you have heard of it before. We will talk about it in detail as well. Yes, no. So I think you're all aware of this term, people analytics. What exactly it is, or maybe if we talk about it in depth, we might have an idea or may not. But we all come across in today's time this word, people analytics, or analytics, of course. Yeah. Just let me know once the poll is closed, then we'll move forward. Amazing, amazing. All right, have you all voted? Have you all voted for this poll? All right, let's move to the next slide then. Great. So, what exactly is people analytics? So, I'll tell you what. We are all management students here, right? In this department, in this particular call, we are all management students. We are reading about HR or masters in marketing and organizational structures. Yeah. Okay. So when you actually understand the organizational structure, yeah, don't we see a flow chart which starts with the CEO and then there are branches which are moving on to different departments, saying one is marketing, the other one is accounts, and the other one is HR, and then there is operations and production and XYZ. Yeah. Do we understand that particular organizational structure where we have different departments? Yes, organizational chart. Amazing, amazing. Super intelligent folks in the call. Absolutely. Now, when you see those different departments, every different department has a different way of doing the performance appraisal. You understand what is performance appraisal? For example, I am a marketing executive in a company, and after 2 years, I am getting promoted to senior marketing executive. And I have a growth plan that one day I want to be a marketing head. Yeah. Now, how can I move from one position to another and to another to another? Is based on the performance criterias, or what we call as KRAs, key result areas of every single position is defined, and it varies from one position to another. It can't be same for all the positions. There are two ways we can analyze these things. One is qualitative, one is quantitative. The quantitative aspects talk about maybe your targets, maybe the deadlines that you have achieved, the deliverables you have done, and the qualitative aspect talks about the behavioral stuff. Yeah. When we talk about people analytics, we measure both of the things are being measured. So if I have to talk to you and tell you that, what are the companies and how the companies these days are analyzing if person is a good person or a bad person, or maybe he has the kind of mentality or the mindset is going to match the vision of the organization or not. There are some companies who want a very rigid kind of a mindset, who just does whatever we asked him to do and nothing more than that. People don't want them to use their brains. Yeah, there are one this kind of a sector that is present in the market, and the other one wants that one should be using their creativity and different ideas, and should be really open to new opportunities and new discussions. These are kind of the opportunities and people also exist in the market. So how do we analyze the mindset and the behavior and the personality of the person? Is through different type of personality questionnaires that are present in the market. So these days, whenever you want to close a position, especially the senior roles, they are being given a few behavioral tests. These are questionnaires which have some objective type questions or some subjective type. It helps the HR or the recruiter or the management to understand that whatever person we are hiring, is it going to be a good decision or a bad decision? Is this person going to be a judgmental kind of a person, or has a growth mindset or not, or is an introvert or an extrovert? Because all these criterias and all these qualities are kind of helpful for us to understand the kind of persona that person holds. Yeah. Every organization has a different questionnaire, and the questionnaire and the personality test does not happens for every position. It is majorly for the seniority level positions, for example VP or managers or deputy managers, all those positions only majorly. For interns and trainees or maybe executives, they are not much considering, but majorly it is done for the senior roles. Okay. So when we take all of this data, wherein we are talking about the behavioral aspect, we are talking about the, so if for example, I'm just giving you an example, if I'm hiring a salesperson who is a regional manager, okay, who has like 10-15 years of experience, I am going to talk to him about his previous quarter targets. Yeah, fair enough. That I will be talking to him about his targets. That, how much incentive have you earned? What was the given target to you? How much were you able to achieve? How many crores of sale have you done? Those are all quantitative basic questions that I am, asking him for the interviews. Now, when I have to understand his qualitative aspect, I'm going to give him a questionnaire, which is a personality questionnaire. And that questionnaire is going to give me a detailed data and analysis based on the answer that he has given. Done? So we have understood what is people analytics. Everything that comes, regarding and around a person's behavior, the KRAs, the work he's doing, the performance he's doing, everything that the deliverables, the deadline, the behavior, the way he is talking to the managers and the colleagues as well can be put into the people analytics and the database. Yeah, done. Should we move to the next slide? Are we all on the same page? All right, awesome. Now we are going to talk about a very renowned company, IBM. Who all have heard this name, IBM? Do you want to work in IBM? Do you want to work in IBM? No? Why? Why you don't want to work? Do you want to be a HR in IBM? Yes, yes, yes. Oh my God. No, there are some people who are saying no. Why is that? Okay. Okay. Maybe. People are saying maybe. No, because of culture. So there are people. Okay. So you guys are saying that their culture isn't that great? Is that so? Yeah. Probably. Is it the culture or is it the timing? All right. So I have mixed views for IBM. I will inform them. Yeah. That, people are, this is what they're thinking about you. Please fix it. Okay. So there was this situation at IBM where there was, high level of movement happening, attrition, and people were moving out, and things were not going really great. I would really want you all to just take 2 minutes and just read this study, and now then we'll talk about it. Just read it out and then we'll talk about it. Okay, right? So a similar analysis, the kind of analysis that we are talking about, was done at IBM as well, where turnover was high for certain business critical roles. So what are business critical roles? They are talking about a very higher level of positions wherein, they are taking care of, maybe handling the team of 50, 60 people, APAC region, pan, regions. They are taking care of that. So where the turnover was high, bole do attrition. Okay. There were people who were leaving the companies. Using IBM's Watson machine learning capabilities, the workforce analytics, team building, and algorithm that included sources like recruitment data, tenure, promotion history, performance roles, salary, location, job role, and more. You see, they have picked up every single data which was required for them to understand why this particular thing is happening, what is going wrong with the processes there. Okay. They had their internal data which was all stored. They used it into the workforce analytics. They built an algorithm, and to understand this thing, they further took what steps. The company also included employee sentiment. So now, initially, what they took the entire quantitative data, everything that they had, their salaries, their job role, their promotion history, the performance, every single thing that they already had that in their database. They put that in one place, and then they included what? Employee sentiment. What is employee sentiment? The score, or maybe we can talk about it as a tool or something that can that through which we can measure the employee happiness. If the culture is good, if they're happy with the culture, it was measured through their social pulse. Okay. So they used it. They circulated a few questionnaires, they did some activities, they try and understand to what is going wrong, and how it is, how can we help this particular thing. Is it the quantitative aspect which is bothering our employees, or is it the culture, the emotional aspect which is triggering them? The hypothesis here was that the engagement with social media might fall when the employer thinking about leaving. Now, what exactly they are thinking when they want to resign or they want to leave the company was the aspect there. When they did all of that research, of course, they came out with a few pointers that needed to be, highlighted and to be worked upon. They did that. And the investment of time and effort, and that the investment that they did for putting in so much of effort to take care of that entire thing in a way that we need to fix this particular ratio. We can't be letting people go from the company. We are a huge brand, we have a lot of projects, and what is going to be the brand name and the global value for us? The investment yielded total, if we talk about in INR, it was 30 crores over 4 years, and the turnover over critical roles has fallen by 25%. So can you see the difference? There were people who were leaving and they didn't want to continue. They were just exiting from the company. But then what happened was, the company decided to make a lot of questions, and they did a lot of research about the employee, the mentality, the mindset, the thought processes when they are thinking about leaving. They also researched upon the history of them, that what has been probable reasons of them that they want to leave. Are they not seeing the growth progression here in the company, or what? they put they had put everything all together in that one data, and that helped them. They came up with a few steps and few reactive and few steps that will help them basically to change few processes in terms of that how and when, and to all those business critical roles, how we can fix this particular issue. Done. Now this particular, what has happened, the attrition rate has fallen by 25%. 25%. Can you imagine? There were so many people who were leaving, and it has reduced. Why? Because the company paid attention to what employee really need for them to work productively. Yeah. So, hey, is this case study helpful for you all? Did you understand the kind of importance a people analytics and people metrics has? And this is a renowned company, right? A company that might feel that whosoever wants to go, just leave. We have a lot of people who want to work with us, but no, they worked other way around. If you are hiring somebody, you can't just let people go in next six months, right? You want them to work with a longer period of time, build a foundation. Yeah. Awesome. Let's move on to the next slide and see what it holds for us. Okay, so this is just an idea for you all, that what if we talk about a very detailed kind of a matrix and we have to put it out in four different quadrants, what does it looks like? You really don't have to understand it in a very in depth. I'm just giving you this as a just a look, a glance over it, that in this level of detail, companies these days are going to understand what employees need, what employees are looking at, and what are the key areas that we need to work upon, what are the basic things that we need to fix in our company, so that the employee experience, the employee culture, the employee productivity is increased to a good area. Yeah, so this is just for your example. This particular picture has been created by one of my friend who is also an HR in a renowned company, and they were just discussing with me the other day, that we have recently, since it is a new financial year started last month, so they were talking about a lot of different changes that the company has planned, the policy change, and what all they are doing for the customer satisfaction, and of course the employee satisfaction as well. There are few companies who are building coaching departments and talk through departments. What is talk through department? Where you can just go and talk your heart out, and there will be nobody judging you, there will be nobody sharing your personal details if you're feeling very low, because these days people and employees are so occupied with extremely long working hours. They are not able to spend much time, and they're not able to acknowledge their emotions if they're having any, right? I was watching on a video the other day on YouTube. I was listening to a podcast, and there was a study. Somebody was discussing about an employee experience wherein he's working in a very good organization in Bangalore, and he is having the hard time of his life. He's saying that I'm earning extremely well, I'm living in a 4 BHK apartment, and I have a beautiful home, I have a beautiful family. However, I am in last 5 years I have gained 25 kgs of weight, and I don't really know what has gone wrong or maybe right with me. I am just not happy. I'm not having, I'm the package that I'm having does not makes me happy. The food that I'm eating does not makes me happy. The He's basically he's a IT person. He says that the codes and the projecting, the everything that I'm doing in this particular company does not makes me happy. So where is this happiness metrics lie, and how can I get that? So people are so much stuck into the loop that they're not able to acknowledge their emotions and talk about it and talk through it, and which is why they are feeling overwhelmed, and there is burnout cases happening wherein they're falling ill, or they're having some health issues, or sleep deprived people, they are having some sleepless nights and all of that. For which the companies have taken an initiative that if you want a breather or a break, or such kind of policies are coming into the process, which is a very very good news for us. But it is going to take a long time for the employers and the management to accept that the dynamics are changing, and so is the mindset of the people and the working culture, wherein we have to provide them with a good amount of time to rest, relax, regenerate, so that they can work productively. Yeah, all right. So why it's important for future HRs? So I have told you about what this matrix is all about. Why is it how people are working, and how we have also gone through one case study, which is after going through this case study, I think it is pretty much evident that it is very important for HRs. I will give you one more example. These days I'm hiring for some MNCs wherein we are hiring for HRs. Okay, the positions are of leadership role, wherein the person should be having 25 plus years of experience. The positions that I'm having are of CXO leadership level. Yeah. So now their concern is not just hiring, not just trainings, not just operation and payroll and salary part. Their concern is also the person should be really good with the dashboards. What is dashboard? These analytics. Everything that you do on a Excel or maybe the other dashboard tools. I will discuss that with you in the coming slides. The requirement is the person should be extremely great I mean, too good when it comes to the analytics and presenting the data. If the person is not able to present the data and also and holds good experience into HR, the company is not gonna consider that profile. That is a requirement of one company that I am working with. Okay, so this is how it goes, right? These days, people who are even graduated or have done masters from really good colleges and universities, but are not able to upgrade themselves when it comes to analytics and AI and data interpretation, they are somewhere, they are lagging behind in the race. So that is the truth, and we have to accept it. So as it is written, that HR is now a mix of data and people skills. So to understand people, to understand folks around you, to understand employees, you actually have to, give them a couple of forms and some, basic personality tests to understand their areas and their interests and their hobbies and what do they like, what do they don't like. And according to that, maybe create a culture which is very much, in a win-win situation for all the people, the management and the employees. And of course, analytics is expected in HR job roles these days. It is very important. Even if you join as a recruiter, when you start your career as a recruiter, yeah, then at that point of a time, you will be given an Excel sheet where you have to write everything, that which candidate have you connected with, which candidate have you scheduled an interview for, or every detail about those interviews which is going around, how much budget it is there, what is the CTC of the person, what is the notice period of the person. You have to put everything into the Excel sheet, and that Excel sheet is further used for further analysis, that how many total interviews were scheduled and how many were there were no show, or maybe they did not turn up, or how many were got rejected, or how many got selected. Every detail can be picked up from that one spreadsheet that you create from your own data, which is the primary data. And then the further interpretations can be taken and made and understood in based upon the cases that you have mentioned in the Excel sheet. Now, why it is important? It is important because when you're working with, working for big projects, how will you be able to understand and make the stakeholders realize that, in the 500 employees or candidates that we have worked upon, how many were falling in this salary category, how many of them were falling in this particular region, how many of them were not willing to relocate, how many of them were having 90 days plus notice period. So these are few terms that you will be very much familiar with once you become HR or maybe join as recruiters, and the data has to be on top. You cannot you cannot ignore Excel sheets if you want to be a HR. That is the reality check that I'm giving you. If you don't like Excel sheet, HR is not for you. Yeah, how many of you use Excel sheets in your day to day life? Please tell me, I would love to know. Are you all familiar, and are you all cool with Excel? Are you all comfortable with Excel sheets? And how many of you use VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, pivot table? Do you use those things for your data? Yes, very good. So it is very important. I'm telling you, if you want to be a HR, you cannot skip Excel sheet. That is the basic. When you create a dashboard, there are other HR tools as well when you have to, create the data analysis. Let's talk about that as well. Okay, Neeraj, can you put up that poll? Can you explain a people related data report in an interview? Now let's talk about when you will be giving an interview. Neeraj, you're there? Okay. So let's talk about a situation. Uh, you know, Now whenever I say that, whenever I take the interviews, there are candidates that I'm interviewing. I'm talking to them about a random data. I give them one data and I tell them that, Just go through it, understand it, and present it to me, or maybe explain it to me. So there are people who get really terrified when it comes to, explaining or presenting or talking about something which is completely out of the box. And that can be a situation with you. But if you know the basics, if you can understand how the data can look like, and how we can read the people analytics, and how we can go through the data which talks about attrition or maybe hiring data, time to fill, employee engagement, retention ratio, if we talk about all those things and we read about them, if we go through, maybe watch a couple of YouTube videos before we go for the interview, of course it will be easier for us to go through it, understand it, and we'll be able to confidently explain it to the interviewer as well. Yeah, because if you are going for a role where the HR analytics or people analytics is a mandatory thing and you are not able to do it, then it is a problem. Do you agree? Do you agree with me that it can be a problem if you're not able to read a data wherein the only requirement was people analytics? Yeah. So whenever you go for an interview as a fresher or maybe having a 1 year, 2 year of experience, make sure that you read the JD very, very properly, and you pick and actually underline the things that are important and marked as one of the important requirements in the candidate, and prepare yourself according to that. Maybe we can have that session in the future. Yeah, awesome. Must know data metrics. However, we have discussed about it. Time to hire, are we fast? Everything that we need to know and we need to understand when it comes to the hiring criteria. Okay, we are moving on to the next slide. I think most of us has filled up the poll. Amazing. So this is a must know data matrix. Time to hire. We all understand what is time to hire matrix. We all understand what is it. Give me a one word answer in the chat box. What is the time to hire matrix? Time to hire, time to hire. What do you mean by that? Priority requirements, okay. And what else? What else can we understand from this? What else can we understand? Application to joining, efficiency, immediate hiring. Awesome. So everything related to hiring. Yeah. So when we get a position from a manager or maybe the management that we need a marketing head, and this position needs to be closed in next 45 days, and everything that we do under that will be created, we'll be creating an entire Excel sheet to have a proper record of the interviews and candidates that we are shortlisting and further aligning for the interviews. That is what we call a time to hire matrix. Okay, amazing, amazing, awesome. Next comes employee engagement. Are they happy or not? This is very simple, right? What all do you understand? Why is it important? Employee engagement, why is it important? Why do you think? What do we need to do if employee is happy or not? We just want their work, right? So why this matrix is important? Give me a chat box answer, please. Why do you think it is important, employee engagement? I just want them to work and give their daily reports to me. I don't care if they are happy or not as a owner of the company. Okay, because it affects productivity. Happy and satisfied employee produce more results voluntarily. Retention, motivation. It will. You guys are going to be great HRs. I'm telling you. You are already HRs. While we HRs took a lot of years to understand the intensity of these matrices, and you guys already know it. Kudos. Amazing, amazing. Okay. Then the attrition rate we discussed in the case study. People are leaving, why they are leaving, right? why they want to do not continue. Do they don't see growth in the company? Is it the salary? Is it the working lifestyle? Is it the timings? Maybe the location, they don't provide cab facility. There could be a lot of reasons why people leave, and having a matrix of that, having the percentage of that, helps the company to fix the issues, around why people are leaving, right? Then comes the offer acceptance. Do they want to join us or not? What is offer acceptance? We discussed offer acceptance is something when people are accepting the offer once we release it after having the salary discussion based on their expectations and our budget. Yeah. If they accept the offer, there are mostly 70 to 80% chances that they are going to join our company. However, rest of 20-30% chances lies on the resignation. If the person has accepted the offer but has not resigned and has not given us the resignation that the current company that he's working in, then it could be a serious problem. Maybe he is doing the offer shopping, which we don't need. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, are we having fun in the session? Are we having, did we get some insightful details in the session? Huh? You all heard about people analytics, which you told me in the beginning, but were you all aware about the different important matrices that we have? I'm getting all yeses. Awesome, amazing. So if you work on Excel sheet, now the technology has like, it's booming. Yeah, we have a lot of tools and technologies and equipments wherein, we present the data very beautifully, and we can do it with the, with the help of learning a few details and tools and shortcuts. And if we don't know a lot of tools, maybe we can do that on Excel sheets as well. And if you know Excel sheets and basic dashboards properly, you might be able to create something like this very easily. And of course, if I am a manager and I want to see the, data report or something like that, and if you present it to me in this way, which looks very much amazing to my eyes, I would love to understand this data. This looks very well curated, well placed, the text, the color combinations, the bar graphs, the pie chart, everything has been created so beautifully. And of course, you will also be able to do it if you just, take a help of the dashboard or some other tools which are also present in the market, which you can learn through a lot of other courses which are available on other platforms. It is very easy, honestly, and it is very much in demand. So when you are, getting into HR, you're preparing yourself, you're understanding the entire HR job responsibilities and the market dynamics. When you want to get into this industry and this role, you also have to prep up yourself when it comes to data and presenting the numbers. I mean, fall in love with numbers, because everywhere there are going to be numbers that you will be talking about with your managers. These many people joined, these many people resigned, or we have these many people who are, expecting promotions in the next month. So this is something that you have to be very, very well versed and, very much familiar with. Awesome. All right. Is engagement more important than hiring speed? Now I want to understand this from you all. Neeraj, can you put this poll on for everybody to just share their answers? Okay, please drop in yes, no, and let me know what do you think about it. So don't we feel that it is pretty simple that, if we say that employee is happy, the happy employee will get few more references to the company. Yeah, the hiring speed will be taken care of. If the culture is good, the reviews of the companies are good, the reviews and the experience, the employee experience that the people are talking about, random people, in maybe a group of friends or in family or cousins, whosoever, if the company's employees are happy, they are, it's free salesman, I would say. Do you experience this thing that if you use a product, probably if you use some cream, or you use any cloth to wear from some particular brand, and you like it, don't you talk about it to your friends very randomly, that I bought this shirt from that particular shop, it was in that area, they have such amazing quality of the products, I just love it, we should go together sometime to shop. That shopkeeper didn't ask you that do this promotion in the market, but you did it, that because of the satisfaction and happiness that you're feeling value for money. Yeah, similarly employees feel value for money, that the amount of hard work that I'm putting in, I am getting that money, and not just that money, I'm getting a lot of respect, I'm getting a lot of consideration, acknowledgement, and appreciation for the hard work that I'm putting in. The culture is flexible, they are providing me cab facilities, they are providing me good food to eat, they are giving me a lot of different perks and incentives to do good in the organization. So, when such kind of a culture is created, of course management has a role to play, but HRs are the executors, right? So when engagement is done in a right way, it is done beautifully, the hiring is automatically taken care of. So now when we talk about the big brands, even if the cultures are not good, but people want to associate with them, they want to work with them. Yeah, so this is the kind of brand value one should have in the market, and it can only be created with the culture and the kind of importance you provide to your employees. Yeah, awesome. So of course I have already discussed this career advantage, why it matters. Analytics knowledge equals to better job chances. I'm telling this to you, these days AI has taken over the a lot of roles, a lot of job opportunities. Even when somebody wants to write a resignation letter, people are using Chat GPT. I came across some, we were just chatting, I was chatting with my friends, and they said that I've had a very bad fight with my boyfriend, and what should I do in this and that. And what she did in front of me was she asked the Chat GPT to write a sorry note and nice romantic note. That is the kind of technology taken over our minds has happened. Yeah. So if you are not able to upgrade yourself, the tech tools should be very much, you should be well versed with it. Why? Because it is going to outstand your profile when it comes to the HRs who want to be hire such people like you. It is going to give you a lot of importance. Your profile will be getting a lot of importance when I'm going to talk about things like for example, if I'm saying that I want somebody who is good with recruitment, I want somebody who is really good, having good communication skills. However, I would also want people who would be understanding Power BI or maybe Tableau. These are two portals where we use where we put in the data and it helps us to create the data matrix. Yeah, if the person does not know what is Tableau, if the person does not know what is dashboards and Power BI and SQL, I will not be hiring that person. And this is going to be the need of the hour, the demand of the hour in the coming few years. at a very, very high scale, that analytics and the kind of level of AI you put in into your work to make your work very productive and efficient, that is all the creativity that you're going to put in. That is totally your brain, how you are going to make sure that your matrix and your data and your analysis looks extremely presentable, easy to understand, and looks beautiful and pleasing to eyes as well. Yeah, makes sense. Then common interview question, I mean, it can come to you that, how do you measure HR success? How do you know that HR department is successful in the company? It is a very basic question that can be asked if you're applying for a role where the HR analytics or the people analytics is the need of the hour. And it is mentioned, they have been mentioned that the skill set we require is Tableau or Power BI. It's a very important question. Useful in projects, internships, group discussion, debates. Of course, I mean, you just cannot ignore this. If in today's time, you cannot ignore the power of Power BI or people analytics. It is important, used by many people, and it will stay in the market. And with the going years, it is going to level up its productivity. Yeah, all right. So there are just few tools: Excel, HR dashboards. So basically Excel sheets, as you can say. There we have a lot of options. However, there are some people who are only using it in copy paste manner. We have a lot of tools which we can use to create bar graphs, pie charts, and different kind of dashboards that we can create based on the data that we have. Basic Excel dashboards that I also shared the picture of you. Yeah. Then some advanced are Power BI and Tableau, and Neeraj also mentioned one in chat box, which is at the Keka website. You can check on that. And how to get that data. It is very important how to get what are the tools that you're using to create that data. If you will be putting everything manual, typing it on the keyboard, it's not possible. However, even if you're trying to do it, there are going to be a lot of mistakes, because when we are putting the entries manually, they take a lot of time and there are tend to mistakes happen. So Google Forms and Sheets, and there are some free survey portals which you can use to accumulate that entire data and put that in one place. When I, as a HR, have to understand the employee engagement or ENSP score and how employees are happy or not happy, we use a couple of forms which are free portals. Some are paid ones as well. They have already curated questions which talks about the personality traits. So you can use those as well in the future as well, whenever you feel the need is there. Okay, all right. So last question, have you created a Google form for the feedback? I believe everybody has done some project, yes or no, here and there. Yeah, I have a lot of yeses. Google Form is the most easiest tool to use and easiest way to get the data. When I, as a recruiter, had started my career, I used to connect with a lot of people on LinkedIn who had applied for different positions in XYZ. There, what I used to do was that I used to send them a message with the Google Form link, and that Google Form link had all questions: your name, your location, are you willing to relocate to Gurgaon or Noida location based upon wherever the open position is, the current CTC, expected CTC, notice period, and your key skills, current designation. All those questions used to be there in that form. And once, of course, the person has applied and has reached out to me for a certain role and the certain opening that I have posted on my page, of course they are going to fill that form up. Once they fill that form up, it is easier for me to just filter it out, the ones that are falling in the budget. If my budget is 10 lakh, the ones who are under 10 lakh, I will be picking them up. Yeah, it is as simple as that. So when you have Google Forms and some other similar forms to pick the data, to take the data from different sources, your life becomes very easy, and the data interpretation and data analysis becomes more easy. Yeah, when you let them understand the area, that that these are the questions, you just have to pick that up. The candidate themselves will make sure that every detail that I'm putting in is correct, so it does not comes to your end that you might end up having a mistake or something like that. Awesome. Amazing. Anybody else who's left not answering the poll? Great. So these are just some few questions, few areas maybe we can say where we can use these people analytics, uh, data improvement, onboarding. We have already discussed this. However, just like a revision, predict resignations early. When we have that the people are not happy or something like that, we would know that it's going to be a bad game and there can be people who will be resigning. If people are happy, we would just know that people are happy, and that we can't just anticipate a lot of resignations. Maybe if they have some personal reasons, the person is relocating to some other city, then we may. Okay, so this is just simple career use cases wherever we can feel the insight are gonna be. Okay, we have one last question, and then we are going to take up a lot of questions. We have one last poll. Would you like to explore more data smart HR tools? If yes, let me know. I am going to provide you with the PDF, which is going to have the links, few PDFs, which has the detailed and some briefs about what are the shortcuts that you can use in Excel, how you can make your data more beautiful, XYZ things. If you need that, we will forward it to the KK team and Neeraj, and they will forward it to you. Give me a yes, give me a no, whatever you feel. And I think we are at the end of the session. I hope you have enjoyed it. I have had a lot of fun interacting with you all. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. I keep posting a lot about interviews, a lot of the information that I have from my previous 10 years of experience. I also keep posting about the internships, and if there are new positions coming up, either in my company or in my friends or my HR group's company, anybody. So, yeah, awesome. Amazing, amazing. So this is my email ID. The other is my Instagram link. You can connect with me there. And now you are the next gen HR leaders. Yeah, but with the data power. Amazing, awesome. Those who need my LinkedIn, I think Neeraj will be passing that on to you all. And let's take up questions. If you have questions, please drop it. Any questions? Any questions? Yes, guys, no questions? In which area HR, you think Power BI has more impact? HR itself, it has a very important impact, because I'll tell you what, when you'll be doing volume hiring, you would need data and you would need a lot of information when it comes to talking about the kind of candidates that are available in the market. What are their, salary expectations, what salaries are they sitting at, what are their communication skills, if you have to rate from 1 to 5. So it totally depends on the kind of job role that you have. If you're only a recruiter, of course hiring is going to be one major matrix that you have to present in a very beautiful way. However, if you are part of only employee engagement, then you will have to, take care of the employee satisfaction. You will have to do a lot of employee engagement activities for them to understand, a lot of team building activities, and probably you have to outsource some trainers for some training activities as well. So it totally depends upon your role. Will Power BI or MS Excel Analytics course work in today's AI world? Of course it will. What was the entire session about? It is going to very much work. It will help you, and I'm sure it is going to, make you realize that what level of upgradation your profile has received. Okay. How AI can help in driving the people analytic insight without bias and future aspects for growth, both individual organization in the competitive world. Now, see, you understand that you all use Chat GPT, right? So, HR is human resource, where you are managing people who are having different DNAs, who are all from different backgrounds, and you cannot predict them at all. So you cannot 100% rely on AI for these matrices or these analytics. You have to use your own brain as well. You have to put in your own instinct as well when you're discussing with the people. There can be one person who is very notorious, who creates a lot of drama in the company but is very productive. You can't tell them that, because you come late every single day, you just can't be in the company anymore. You can't be like that. You have to make them understand. You probably, give them a couple of warning emails. But there are people who are, very dedicated with the rules and regulations and everything, but they end up, not working at all. So there are people who are having different behavioral aspects. There are people who are having different quantitative aspect. If you put everything in a dashboard, there can be actions and reaction that will reflect, that may be really hard on them, on their profiles and everything. But that's when you have to put in your own human instinct before taking an action. The data and analytical thing and AI can help you in having a in-depth insight, and everything put together will help you make the easy, easy decision making. Okay, all right. Bharat, hope I have answered your question. After 3 month wait, thorough follow-up, what are the recommended steps to take when a candidate fails to show up on their scheduled joining day? Furthermore, how significantly does such an event can impact the overall time? Always have a backup. Always have a backup. Also, when the notice period increases, the chances of the candidate being dropped also increases. It is directly proportional. You can't escape this reality. If Which is why, as HRs, we emphasize on people to join as early as they can. Whenever I ask them, what is your notice period, the next question that comes to my mind is this notice period negotiable or not? Yeah. So for very much priority positions, it is always advisable to not to give that much of a waiting time, that much of a time for the employee to keep exploring other positions in the market, because it is easily available, especially for the candidates who are extremely good. And such things needs to be taken in a way that you have to keep the backup. in the database. That is only going to be helpful. What is the best way to put forward the technical question that you mentioned to very senior employees while screening them? A direct question might sound rude to the potential. So the thing is, usually in the screening process, you don't ask them technical questions. You ask them how many years of experience in those technical domains you have. You don't tell them that, can you run that? Can you run this? If you ask such questions, if you ask it in this way, it will look very funny and it will look very unprofessional. So you don't ask that if you can use that tool or use that technical thing. Don't please ask those questions. You may ask that how many years of relevant experience do you have, how many years of experience do you have in working this with this particular portal, maybe Jira, or maybe are you Six Sigma certified, are you AWS certified? So you can ask such questions, but don't ask that will you be able to do that. Also, technical questions are never asked when it comes to the screening questions. It is only asked and also analyzed by the HR or the manager for which position, who has raised that position. Okay, so for example, I am the HR. I'm just doing the screening and sourcing of the candidate. I came across a very good technical profile, and I feel that all the keywords are matching as per my JD. I have taken a few details, and then I have shared that resume with the reporting manager of that particular department head or the function head who needs that person or has an open position in the team. They will help me analyze in a better way if he's technically sound or not, right? So rather than putting such questions out to the market to the candidate, we should take the resume and go to the reporting manager or the function head to understand if the profile is going to be suitable for the open position or not. All right, next question, please. How can we handle the change among the employees? They were so good when they joined, but after some time they changed themselves. So, what are the tools to check their credibility? First tool is you yourself as a HR sit with them in a room over a cup of coffee and talk to them. Talk to them once, talk to them twice, thrice. If it does not changes, include the reporting manager in. Talk about it, that what has changed. What is the productivity not improving? Is the behavior not improving? Have you talked to your that XYZ employee on this? If they say that, yes, I have highlighted this particular issue and particular behavior with them multiple times, but does not changes, so in that case, that needs to be taken to the management, because people who are having some bad intentions or are not having a good sound character or are having some issues with their behavioral traits, they tend to ruin the culture of the organization. That needs to be highlighted immediately to the management after a couple of actions that you have taken to fix it. However, usually it does not goes in that bad direction. It usually gets fixed because every employee needs attention and that care and recognition. If you pay them attention that, okay, this particular project that you did was amazing, we are putting you into the another project, and the responsibility is increasing because you are able to take care of a lot of projects and we really rely upon you. So this is going to help them. Is offer acceptance more important or employee actually joining? What why is this question even there? So I'll tell you what, of course, employee joining is actually very important. There are some times when the offers are not accepted. There are some employees who are just not paying much attention to the offer and the mails, but they WhatsApp you the resignation. They keep exploring outside here and there, but they don't get good opportunity and they end up joining. There are cases like that. And there are cases who accept the offer and they also join. So both of them are important. Till the time employee has not joined, the follow up is very important. If you don't follow up, the candidate is not taking your calls, not responding to your mails, there is alarming sign that he might not join. And of course, if the employee joining is happening, then it is a party day for a recruiter. All right, next question. I have 3 years of HR operation experience, currently not working anywhere and looking for opportunity. How do I get a hands on experience of the analytical tools? There are a lot of courses available. I think Kekak will also be able to help you. You can connect with Neeraj and the team directly if you want to, improve your analytic skill set. Also, I always say this to anybody who comes to me for advice, that maybe I do some a couple of courses and then start working. And no, keep working, and alongside keep studying. Don't put unnecessary gaps unless there is some major concern, or maybe your last year of the semester exam or something like that is happening, or some urgency that has happened, which is why you have to uh, not able to work. That could be a different scenario, but just because you have to do a couple of courses, don't take such breaks in your career. Keep working, because the hands-on experience that you're getting when you're working, nothing like that. And of course, analytical tools, Keka will help you. There are a lot more courses there in the market. Power BI, Tableau, and the one that Neeraj mentioned on the Keka board, of course, they are going to be very, very helpful. Okay. Next question. What would be the major role for HR journalist with respect to people analytics? HR journalist is a person who is majorly taking care of the operational part. It has very less talent acquisition and a lot of operation stuff. Now, when you do a lot of operation stuff, you majorly have a lot of data in your system that talks about your joining time, offer release time, your salary, your promotions, your KRAs, everything. Now, what major role? The role itself is HR journalist. There is no other role which is very important. Now, when you talk about people analytics, there could be one day when management wants the hiring turnover or a tat ratio. There could be few months later they want the attrition ratio data matrix, or there may be few months later they want a salary or the promotion or the hike ratio from you. So it completely depends. It is totally, it varies upon the situation and the time which is going on in the company and what is the need of the hour. Okay. All right, next question please. How effective is X-ray search for finding resumes, and how can we use it efficiently? X-ray search, Boolean search, they all are very efficient on different portals depending upon what kind of keywords that you're putting. So as a HR myself, if I want to hire a project manager, I will go through the JD. I'm going to highlight the keywords that are important and which are very much insightful when it comes to that. These are the kind of must haves that are required. Sometimes I also connect with the function head and the reporting manager to understand. So what I do is I reach out to them and tell them that please tell me what are the must haves, what are the preferred, and what are the okay like go to. So once I have those skill set and those criterias in front of me, it becomes very easy for me to create a search with keywords and experience and salary and location details, and then I start my the calling or maybe reaching out to different candidates. That is for every portal. How can HR balance the pressure of fast hiring with the need to maintain a positive candidate and employee experience? See, if you are having a pressure, you would not call the candidate saying, "Are you looking for a job?" No, right? You will be talking to them personally and nicely and politely only. You will not be shouting on them if you are having a pressure. And if you ask me that how to balance that pressure, see, don't take anything on your heart. The manager might, scold you, or maybe they go mad at you that you have to close this position in next 1 week. I still get to hear such things, Harshita, we need to close this position. And I'm like, okay, I'm working with my team. We'll see. uh, you can't control the external factors, honestly. There are people who are having 90 days notice, and what if that person gets selected? You can't ask them to join it before at least 45 days. Yeah. So this balance thing, don't take anything on your heart, and once you log out, just forget about it. That's the only mantra that I follow. Once the laptop is shut, dukan band, and just forget about it. Now you have to look at it next day. Nothing before that. And positive candidate experience will obviously stay. You will not be shouting on them. I have 1 year of experience in HR recruitment. Now I want to move to HR operations, onboarding, payroll, and journalists. Couldn't find any opportunity. How can I upgrade myself? I had many courses, but companies were asking for hands-on experience. So if they're asking for hands-on experience, get into recruitment. Honestly, recruitment also has operations. If you go into consultancies, it will only be recruitment. If you will go into the corporate world, there will be a mix of both. So you will get hands-on experience alongside with the recruitment. There you cannot escape recruitment, honestly, when you are in HR. However, with passing years, when you get more experienced, you can keep your specifications right. Like I have 5 years of experience, which is 70% into operations and 30% into recruitment. So people who need people who are really experienced in operations and payroll and policy making and all of that, those HRs will only pick your profile and not the recruitment ones. So just get the job that you're, whatever is next available. Could you brief about HRBP with respect to people analytics? So HRBP are basically those people who take care of the employee engagement and the culture of the entire organization. So of course that employee engagement, are employees happy? That is the kind of analytics that is going to play a major role here, and that can be either created quarterly or half yearly and presented to the management for the basic details. Okay. Can a strong employee engagement strategy reduce the need to frequent hiring altogether? Of course. अगर लोग जाएंगे ही नहीं, so you don't need to hire, right? Unless there is a need, some new project is coming, some different kind of a skill set that we require, that is needed. So in that cases, we may need some more people, and otherwise, no. So if there is good employee engagement, if there are people who are, very happy with you, they won't leave, and voila, you're in the right direction. Awesome. I think we have covered almost all the questions, Neeraj. We are at the end of the session. Neeraj has already shared my LinkedIn link with you all. Please connect with me. I would love all of you to have in my LinkedIn family. I already have like good amount of followers there. I keep posting a lot of stuff when it comes to HR, hiring, recruitment, suggestions, and my life experiences. I've had great fun with you all. All the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Harshita, for conducting this very beautiful session. And yeah, just hope to see you in the next session as always. And guys, just before leaving, since there were a lot of questions about HR dashboard, I would just like to show you how an HRMS dashboard looks like, if that's fine with you, Harshita.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. So guys, I'll be showing you an analytical dashboard. So you can see how a dashboard basically looks like. When we are talking about dashboard, we are talking about visual representation of data. So as you can see, there is gender, there is employee type, there is worker type, nationality, age of the employees, years in organization. So this is just one of the analytics that you need to keep a track of: headcount by demographics. Then there is a growth and retention. There is attrition analysis, like Harshita already explained. So here you can see the growth rate of the organization, the retention rate of the employees, attrition rate of the company, total attrition throughout the year. So this is called a analytical chart. So this you can create using Excel also, making Power BI dashboards. But how it works in Keka is that you can directly feed in the Excel data and it automatically creates a bar graph for you. And yeah, attrition data is the last metric that I'll be showing. uh, Overall attrition you can see here, insights, years in organization. Also you can see uh, how many people are there who has been in the organization for 0 to 1 years, 2 to 3 years, 3 to 4 years. And so forth and all. Yeah, I guess so. That's it. So, Harshita, thank you for conducting this very nice session. And guys, if you want us to conduct more sessions in the future, please keep on completing the assignments. We need a good number of people, almost all of you, to graduate from this whole program. Harshita, many other speakers, me, my team, we all have put a lot of efforts to make this whole session for free. And yeah, just keep on completing the assignments and keep on checking with us. If you want something specific from me, let's say you're looking out for an HRMS, you can reach out to me over my email. It is already shared over the WhatsApp group. And yeah, thank you folks. We'll be wrapping up this session and sharing the fourth assignment related to the people analytics course. Thank you, Harshita, once again.
Thank you
And
so much. Thank you for having me. All the best, everybody. Take care. Bye bye.
thank you.